I made my cheating wife think I was the one having an affair. I need to get this off my chest because I'm questioning if what I did was justified or if I'm just a manipulative asshole. I own a home remodeling company here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Started from the bottom, literally was swinging hammers on construction crews at 20, worked my way up to foreman, then opened Reed Home Renovations when I was 28. Nothing was handed to me. I bought my first small house at 26, then picked up 2 duplexes over the next few years that I rent out. The rental income plus the business has given me a comfortable life. Here's the thing though, I grew up watching my uncle get absolutely destroyed in a divorce. Lost his business, his house, everything. The whole experience made him bitter and broke. I was maybe 17 when it happened, but it stuck with me hard. So when I started accumulating assets, I was careful. I set up an LLC for my company, put my house and duplexes into a revocable living trust that I established before I even met my wife. I know it sounds paranoid, but I'd seen what could happen. I met Brianna, everyone calls her Bree, about 6 years ago at an open house. I was looking at properties to flip. She was the realtor showing the place. She's 33 now, was 27 then. Gorgeous, outgoing, great with people. We hit it off immediately. Dated for about 1.5 years before getting married. Initially, we didn't do a prenup. I was in love, she seemed solid, and honestly I didn't want to start our marriage with that kind of distrust. But about 1 year after we got married, Bree got into credit card debt. She'd been buying crypto, meme stocks, shopping to relieve stress from work. It wasn't catastrophic, but it was enough that collections started calling. I helped her pay down a chunk of it to get the wolves off our backs. That's when my lawyer suggested a postnuptial agreement. Not to be cruel, but to be clear. My pre-marriage assets, the stuff in the trust and LLC, would remain separate property. Anything we acquired together during the marriage would be community property and split normally. Bree signed it. She even had her own lawyer review it first. At the time, she was grateful I was helping with her debt, so she agreed. I think there was some resentment brewing underneath, though. Fast forward to about 8 months ago. Things started feeling off. Bree joined F45, then switched to Orange Theory, then hot yoga. New workout clothes, new athleisure, wardrobe that looked like it cost more than my truck payment. She started posting mirror selfies constantly. More happy hours with the team, more brokerage training sessions, more networking events. She'd always been social, she's a realtor, it comes with the territory, but this felt different. The phone calls were what really got my attention. She'd step out onto the patio to take calls, voice dropping to a whisper. VIP client, she'd say. High-maintenance buyer. But it was happening at 9:10 p.m. Who's calling about properties that late? I started noticing patterns. Text messages with unfamiliar numbers during dinner. She'd get a notification, glance at it, and smile in this specific way. Then she'd excuse herself to respond to a client. I checked the location history on our shared Apple account. One address kept appearing, a luxury apartment complex near downtown. Another frequent spot was this upscale hotel I'd never been to. When I asked about her evenings, the location she described didn't match. I pulled our phone bill. One number appeared constantly, calls, texts, all hours. I ran it through a business contact database. Evan Carter, medical device sales rep, orthopedic equipment, almost 40, married with 2 kids. I checked our credit card statements. Restaurant charges on days she said she was closing a deal with a client. Hotel bar charges, spa visits, everything lined up with days she claimed to be working late. I was about 90% sure she was having an affair. Here's where I made my choice, and I'm still not sure if it makes me smart or just cold. I remembered my uncle. I remembered how his ex-wife's lawyer painted him as controlling, emotionally abusive, gaslit him in court. How her narrative became the truth because he got angry and defensive. I realized that if I confronted Bree directly, she'd flip the script. I'd become the villain, the controlling husband who didn't trust her, the one who monitored her phone. They'd use my caution with assets as proof I was financially abusive. So I decided to play a different game. I decided to make her think I was the one cheating. I joined a boxing gym that had co-ed classes. Started going regularly, made friends with people there, including Qley, a woman about my age who's married with kids of her own. Completely platonic. We'd talk between rounds, laugh at how sore we were, take group selfies after class. She'd tag me in her Instagram stories sometimes. I started being vague about my schedule. I'd mark my calendar with things like client dinner, or late consult, uptown. I got a second SIM card registered under my LLC and would text myself messages like "last night was amazing" or "can't believe we finally did this." I'd let those messages come through when Bree was nearby, glance at my phone, smile slightly, then pocket it without responding. I upgraded my wardrobe a bit. Different cologne. Paid more attention to haircuts. Had more evenings where I'd say I needed to measure a job site or check on a crew, and I'd leave around 8 or 9 p.m. Most of the time I was just grabbing beers with my guys or sitting at Starbucks reading. When Bree would ask who was that texting, I'd give non-answers. Just work stuff. Not defensive, not angry, just distant. Vague enough to make her imagination run. And it worked. She started checking my phone when I was in the shower. I'd see her scrolling through messages, finding those planted ones. She'd get this look on her face, not hurt but almost satisfied. Like, see, he's not perfect either. The thing is, she never confronted me. She never asked if I was cheating. Because if I was cheating too, then her affair with Evan wasn't so bad. She could justify it. We're both unhappy. The marriage was already over. He moved on first. I watched her rationalize her way deeper into the affair while simultaneously feeling vindicated about her own behavior. She had no idea. She wanted to play games. Fine. I'd give her a game she wouldn't forget. Update 1. So 3 months after I started the whole fake affair thing, I got served with divorce papers at a job site. The process server walked right up while I was going over plans with my crew, asked if I was Logan Reed, and handed me the papers. I didn't open it until I got back to the truck. Divorce petition. Irreconcilable differences and suspected infidelity on behalf of respondent. She was actually doing it. She was accusing me of cheating. What really got me was her demands written right there in legalese. She wanted half my assets, wanted me to pay spousal support because she'd sacrificed her career, and wanted to keep living in my house. The house I bought 3 years before I even met her. I sat in that truck for probably 20 minutes just staring at the papers. This was really how it was ending. Not with honesty or a conversation, but with legal documents and lies. Then I called Ms. Calder, my attorney, told her Bree had filed. She said, "Good, bring me everything you have, we'll respond in 2 weeks. But here's where things got messy in ways I didn't expect. That night Bree came to the house to get some things. I was in the kitchen when she walked in. She looked good, I'll admit. Hair done, makeup perfect, wearing this confident expression like she'd already won. "So you got the papers," she said, not a question. "Yeah. I think this is best for both of us, Logan. We've both moved on." I just looked at her. "Have we?" She got defensive immediately. "You've been distant for months, always at that gym, always on your phone. I see the way that Qley girl looks at you." I almost laughed. "Qley, she's married with 2 kids, Bree. We're gym friends." "Right, gym friends. Who text you at night?" "Who texts you at night?" I shot back. She blinked. Just for a second I saw panic flash across her face, but she recovered fast. "My clients text at all hours, you know that. Evan Carter texts you a lot. Medical sales rep, right? Married guy." The color drained from her face. "How do you phone Bill?" I said simply. "We're on a shared plan, remember?" She stood there frozen for maybe 5 seconds. Then the anger came. "You've been spying on me, checking my phone records." "That's controlling, Logan. That's abusive. You're trying to make me the bad guy when you're the one who started acting shady first." And there it was, her justification. In her mind, my fake affair came first, so hers was justified. "When did I cheat, Bree? Give me one specific instance." She couldn't. She listed vague things: time at the gym, being on my phone, going out at night. But no hotel rooms, no charges, no actual evidence. Because there wasn't any. "I want you out," she finally said. "This is my house too. Actually, it's not. It's in my trust, my name, purchased before we got married. We'll see what a judge says about that." She grabbed a bag and headed for the door, but she turned back. "You know what? I'm glad this is happening. I deserve better than someone who makes me feel crazy for having completely reasonable concerns. The next few days were weird. Bree posted on Instagram, "Sometimes the person you take a bullet for is the one behind the trigger. Healing starts now." Her comments exploded. Friends calling me every name in the book. Her mom called me directly. "You've destroyed my daughter. She gave you everything and you threw it away for some gym whore." I didn't respond to any of it, just started organizing evidence with Ms. Calder. But the real chaos started when we filed our response 2 weeks later. I wasn't there when Bree got served with our counter-claim, but within an hour my phone started blowing up with calls from her. I finally answered at the 5th call. "Logan, what the hell did you just do?" "I responded to your divorce petition," I said calmly, "with evidence." "Evidence of what?" "That I have a job, that I meet with clients." "Evidence that you've been sleeping with Evan Carter for 8 months, all while telling me you're working." Silence, long silence. "That's," her voice shook, "you don't know what you're talking about." "I have the receipts, Bree, literally. Hotel on Main Street, March 15th. Dinner at Perry's, April 3rd. His apartment complex every Tuesday and Thursday in May. Want me to keep going? You're a psychopath." Her voice was different now. Not confident, scared. "You made me think you were cheating. You gaslit me into believing what? That you should sleep with someone else. You started seeing Evan in February. I joined the gym in June. The math doesn't work in your favor." She hung up. That evening my phone rang, unknown number. I answered. "This is Natalie Carter." My stomach dropped. "Evan's wife." "I got a package today," she said. Her voice was eerily calm. "From your attorney, with some very interesting photos of my husband with your wife." "I'm sorry you had to. Don't just tell me one thing. How long?" "Based on what I can prove, at least 8 months, she laughed. It wasn't a happy sound. 8 months, Jesus Christ, thank you for telling me. My lawyer will be in touch with yours. She hung up. Within a day, apparently all hell broke loose in Evan's world. His wife kicked him out. She filed for divorce. And somehow his company found out he'd been using client dinners as an excuse to see Bree, expensing some of it. He got moved to a different territory. Bree's lawyer called Ms. Calder trying to negotiate. Could we settle without going to trial? Could we keep the affair evidence private? Ms. Calder's response: "Your client filed claiming his infidelity. Served him papers while he was at work. She made this public. We're just correcting the record." The preliminary hearing was 3 weeks later. I saw Bree there with her lawyer, Sanchez. She looked smaller somehow. Hair in a ponytail, minimal makeup, none of the confidence from before. When the judge started reviewing the postnup, Bree leaned over to whisper urgently to Sanchez. He stood up and argued that she'd been coerced, that she hadn't understood what she was signing. Ms. Calder pulled out the email chain. Bree's attorney reviewing it, the invoice, Bree's own email. "Thanks, everything looks fine." The judge looked at Bree. "Ma'am, did you have legal representation when you signed this agreement?" "Yes, but did anyone force you to sign it?" "No, but I was." "Then this agreement stands. Your husband owned these assets before marriage. They don't become community property because you lived in the house." I watched Bree's face crumble. This wasn't going the way she'd expected. The judge set a trial date and dismissed us. As we were leaving, Bree caught up to me in the hallway. "Logan, wait, can we talk?" I stopped, looked at her. "This doesn't have to be like this," she said quietly. "We can still work it out. Go to counseling, start over." "Start over?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You want to start over? What you did was messed up, making me think you were cheating, but maybe we both made mistakes." "I didn't make a mistake, Bree. I protected myself from someone who was already betraying me." "I wouldn't have," she stopped. "If you hadn't made me feel so alone, so unwanted, I never would have. You started seeing him in February. I didn't do anything until June. Stop rewriting history." She stared at me. "You're really going to destroy me over this, aren't you?" "I'm not destroying you. You destroyed yourself. I'm just making sure you don't take me down with you." I walked away. That was the last real conversation we had. Update 2. The trial was last week. 2 days that felt like 2 years. Day 1 started with my accountant walking through my business history, property purchases, the timeline of everything I'd built. Boring stuff, but necessary. Bree sat across the courtroom with Sanchez, her lawyer, looking like she'd rather be anywhere else. Then Sanchez stood up to make his case for why Bree deserved half my assets. Your Honor, while Mr. Reed may have purchased the home before marriage, Mrs. Reed contributed significantly to its maintenance and improvement throughout their relationship. She created a home, not just a house. That emotional labor, that homemaking, has value. Ms. Calder smiled. What specific improvements did Mrs. Reed make to the property? Sanchez shuffled his papers. She decorated selected furnishings, managed the household. Mr. Reed's company did all renovation work. His employees, his materials, his business accounts. Mrs. Reed selected paint colors. Is that worth half a house? The judge raised an eyebrow. Continue, Ms. Calder. Mrs. Reed's career as a realtor has been quite successful. She's closed multiple significant properties, posts regularly about her professional achievements. Hard to claim sacrifice when your Instagram is a highlight reel of success. I glanced at Bree. Her jaw was tight. Day 2 is when everything exploded. Ms. Calder started with the phone records, not just numbers but actual timelines. February 12th, 47 text messages with Evan Carter. February 14th, Valentine's Day, Mrs. Reed told her husband she had a late showing. Location data shows she was at the Adolphus Hotel. Credit card shows a $280 charge for dinner and drinks. Bree leaned over, whispering urgently to Sanchez. He looked uncomfortable. Then came the messages. Ms. Calder had gotten them through Discovery. She read them aloud. Bree, I can't stop thinking about yesterday. When can I see you again? Evan, tomorrow. Tell Logan you have a closing. Bree, this is getting harder. I hate lying to him. Evan, I know, but we'll figure it out. We're good together. I watched Bree's face. She was crying quietly, head down. That's when Sanchez stood up. Your Honor, while these messages are unfortunate, Mr. Reed also engaged in suspicious behavior. Late nights out, secretive phone usage, time with another woman at his gym. Let's talk about that, Ms. Calder said. She submitted my complete phone records, bank statements, credit cards. No hotel charges, no mysterious restaurant bills, no late-night calls to unknown numbers. The suspicious texts came from a business line registered to his LLC. We have the registration documents here. The judge looked at Sanchez. Do you have any concrete evidence of infidelity on Mr. Reed's part? Anything beyond suspicion? Your Honor, the pattern of behavior suggests patterns aren't proof, counselor. Mrs. Reed believed her husband was unfaithful. She was wrong. Meanwhile, we have ample evidence that she was, in fact, unfaithful. That's the distinction here. During a break, I went to the bathroom. When I came out, Evan was standing there. I'd seen pictures, but seeing him in person was different. He looked exhausted. You destroyed my life, he said. Natalie took the kids. My company demoted me. All because you couldn't handle what? My wife cheating on me. You're right, I couldn't handle it, so I documented it and told the truth. Crazy, right? He stepped closer. You could have just let it go, filed quietly. But no, you had to burn everything down. You burned it down when you decided to sleep with a married woman. I just lit the match that was already there. A court officer saw us and stepped in. Gentlemen, this isn't the place. Evan walked away. I never saw him again. When we reconvened, the judge delivered her rulings. The house was mine. The business was mine. The duplexes were mine. Everything I'd built before Bree was mine. The community property, Bree's SUV, the joint account with $8,000, some furniture would be split. But then came the debt. Regarding credit card debt, the judge said, the court finds that significant charges were directly related to Mrs. Reed's extramarital affair. Under Texas law, this constitutes marital waste. Mrs. Reed will assume full responsibility for these charges. Bree looked up, alarmed. Sanchez was frantically writing notes. The court also denies spousal support. Mrs. Reed has demonstrated earning capacity and was the party who engaged in adultery, which is a factor in Texas alimony decisions. It was over. Bree got her car, $8,000 and about $12,000 in debt. She'd walked into court expecting half my assets and walked out with less than nothing. As everyone was packing up, Bree walked over to me. Her eyes were red. Are you happy now? She asked quietly. You got everything. You win. This wasn't about winning, Bree. Then what was it about? Revenge, punishment, protection, I said. I watched you lie to me for 8 months. Watched you spend our money on another man. Watched you prepare to take everything I'd built while painting me as the villain. I just made sure the truth came out." She wiped her eyes. "I did love you, you know, at the beginning. Maybe, but you loved the idea of what I could give you more. When someone else offered attention, you took it." She flinched. "I hope you end up alone, Logan. I hope you build your perfect life with your perfect assets and realize none of it matters without someone to share it with. Better alone than with someone who'd betray me." She left. That was 3 days ago. The divorce is final. Final update. Wasn't planning to post again, but something happened last night that I think gives this story the ending it needs. First, quick life update. I'm doing good. Renovated the master bedroom right after everything finalized. Ripped out everything, new paint, new floors, new fixtures. It was therapeutic, honestly. My crew came over on a Saturday and we basically gutted it. Business is solid. Actually got a referral from a client who said they appreciated how I handled a difficult personal situation with integrity. Word gets around, I guess. As for Bree, the DFW real estate community is smaller than you'd think. I hear things. She's in a 1-bedroom apartment in Irving now, nothing like the house. Her Instagram went from daily posts to maybe once a week, and when she does post, it's generic realtor stuff. No more luxury lifestyle content. Her career took a hit. When everything became public record through the divorce, people talked. Some of her former clients specifically said they wouldn't work with her again. Her brokerage apparently had some talks with her about maintaining professionalism. Her friend group split. The hardcore support women no matter what. Crew still comments on her posts, but a lot of people quietly distance themselves. Turns out there are limits. Evan and Natalie's situation is still a mess from what I hear. She took the kids and moved in with her parents. Whether they're getting back together or finalizing their divorce, I don't know and don't care. But here's what happened last night. I was at Home Depot grabbing supplies for a job. Came around an aisle and there she was. Bree. She saw me at the same time. For a second we just stood there. She looked tired. Not just physically, there was something in her eyes that wasn't there before. "Logan," she said my name like a question. "Bree, I didn't expect to see you here. I'm getting tile. What are you doing here? My bathroom sink is leaking. The landlord won't fix it, so." She held up a wrench that was definitely the wrong size for what she needed. Old habits kicked in. "That's not going to work. You need a basin wrench." Aisle 9. "Oh, thanks." We stood there in awkward silence. Other shoppers moved around us. "How are you?" she finally asked. "Good, you?" Managing. More silence. This was excruciating. "Logan, She stopped. "I wasn't going to say anything," Bree said quietly, "but I think I need to. What you did messed with my head for months. I convinced myself I wasn't the bad guy because you were cheating too. I know, that was the point. But I was already." She stopped. "I'd already started with Evan before you did anything, and I can't blame you for that. Can't blame you for protecting yourself either." She looked at me then, really looked at me. "You're smarter than I gave you credit for. I always thought I was the clever one, but you played chess while I was playing checkers. I learned from watching my uncle lose everything. He was honest, confrontational, emotional. His ex destroyed him because of it. I decided I wouldn't make the same mistake." She shifted the wrench to her other hand. "Yeah, I messed up. I thought I could have everything, the security you provided and the excitement Evan offered. Instead, I lost both." "How is Evan?" "Don't know. Haven't talked to him since his wife kicked him out. He tried calling a few times, but..." She shrugged. "What's the point? We weren't in love. We were just convenient escapes from our real lives." "Was I that bad?" I asked. "Was being married to me so terrible that you needed an escape?" She thought about it. "No, you weren't bad. You were stable, reliable, safe. And I wanted danger and passion and spontaneity. I wanted to feel like the main character in some grand love story. So you cheated." "So I cheated." She looked down. "And now I'm alone in a shitty apartment fixing my own sink because I can't afford a plumber." I felt something then, not sympathy exactly, more like recognition of how far we'd both fallen from where we'd started. We stood there one more second. "I hope you find what you're looking for," I said, "whatever it is." "I don't think I know what that is anymore." She paused. "But I hope you do. Find it, I mean. You deserve that." "Take care, Bree." "You too, Logan." I walked away, paid for my supplies, drove home. I thought about that conversation, about how Bree had finally admitted the truth to herself and to me. There was no anger left, no bitterness, just this weird sadness for two people who'd gotten married for the wrong reasons and paid different prices for it. Bree wanted a fairy tale. I wanted a partnership. Those two things don't overlap as much as you'd think, but at least now my house is mine. My business is solid. My conscience is clear. That's enough. This is my last update. Thanks for following along, Reddit. Time to move forward for real now.